Trying to come back on.
Okay, here we go, baby. God damn it! Yep, Modern Rejects Podcast. This is Nick.
It's your boy Chill.
Episode 46. God damn it. Get right to the point. Back for his fourth episode? Third episode. Goes by the name of Colton O'Brian, but his real name is Colton O'Brian. Let's give him some claps.
What's happening?
Let's give him some claps.
You caught me during mid-drink, my bad.
Colton, your mic is live.
We got this.
So don't worry, we will get everything you're saying on record. Episode 46, YouTube, Modern Rejects Podcast, SoundCloud, Modern Rejects Podcast. Finally got the group back together.
Yes,
it's been 2 weeks, but it has felt like a month.
I know, man. Time is just flying.
So if you want to talk about fucking time flying, you could relate that to time travel, my friend. And there is a certain group of people that are on TV that have done some time traveling themselves. I know what you're thinking. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the Simpsons, my friend. So shout out to Pat McCaffrey, dude. I saw he posted it, which fucking got my attention. But everybody knows, the Simpsons predict shit, right?
Of course.
But no, I don't think people realize how much they predicted the shit, right? So if you're listening, you would think it would be like a couple of minutes of shit. No, dog. It's like 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Of just like the craziest shit that has already happened. That has happened on the Simpsons show.
Right.
Give me some examples, dog.
I try to think to myself, they've been making TV since like the early 90s.
When did the Simpsons come out?
Like early 90s, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is they've made enough TV to where you'd probably get a couple things right, but the amount of shit they get right is crazy.
There's a certain fucking one that sticks out in my fucking mind. It was one of those things you're watching, it's funny because it's the Simpsons, but at the same time you get chills.
I have a theory.
What?
All right, so how they got tabloids, they got newspapers, they got television. Is pretty much basically an outlet to spread information. So what if the Simpsons and Family Guy? What if cartoons like that? What if it's a form of taboo, but it's accepted because it's on our television? Because think about it. When you see taboos, you see the craziest shit that's going on, you wouldn't think it's true, but it might be true. That's just like The Simpsons, and that's just like Family Guy. When you see shit on there that you don't think is true, but it actually happens. Like, for example, you was talking about The Simpsons, right? There was an episode when they was talking about Trump.
That's one that gave me fucking chills.
See, but that was out before. So
Way
what
before.
if
it came out 2008 or some shit?
Yeah, they were talking about Trump back in the 90s, dude.
Yeah, but him winning,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Who would have thought he was gonna win? So what if these TV companies that produce these cartoons, what if they have some type of source that's leaking out information, but they're putting it on TV and they're trying to see if we believe it or not?
But how can you leak Trump being president in 10 years?
Exactly, but you got to think about it though.
I'll tell you how. It was fucking Nixon's wife. Her fucking crazy ass letter got out.
But isn't that weird that, say there are people out here doing psychic visions, that she happened to see the same thing as the Simpsons saw?
That's the scene I'm talking about. Is Donald Trump is going down the elevator, and as he's going down the elevator, he raises his right hand. It's the same fucking elevator. I'm sorry. What is it? What are you?
Angle. It's the same angle.
It's not the elevator. It's a escalator.
Yeah.
He's going down the escalator. It's the exact same angle. It's the exact same crowd of people.
Yeah.
On the top of the thing. It's the exact cut, not a fence, but
decoration or something on that.
Whatever.
Decor.
Yeah. No. So you don't fucking fall off the top of the mall.
Okay. Just
Oh,
like
the
fence-
railing?
The railing,
the
thank
railing,
you.
Okay.
It has the
Nick,
same exact
really?
railing, dog. And if you notice, he in The Simpsons he raises his right hand, but he doesn't like raise it over his head like no motherfuckers do, and like they wave. He does like a slight fucking like acute angle, if you will, and like waves his hand. And then in real life, he does the like. It's not even like one of those things where like, oh, that's kind of like, no, dog. It is the exact. There's nothing different.
Exactly.
It's super weird, man.
Melania's like 4 steps or like 2 steps in front of him on
Yeah.
The Simpsons, and then in real life, she's like 2 steps in front of him.
It's so weird. Man.
Melania just doesn't give a shit about his old crusty ass, dog. she just along, yeah.
That's just crazy to me, man, because I thought I was the only one that was tripping when I saw TV shows like that. And I was like, did this really happen?
Well, I
Or-
watched 12 minutes of that shit, and it really fucking creeped me out.
It's like that show Black Mirror. Oh, we'll get back to Simpsons. But Black Mirror made that episode where, like, the Chinese government gave everyone social credit scores, and then that happened like
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
not too long ago.
Have I ever told you that I think eventually in the future we're gonna have our social media profile hovering over our head?
I thought
You ever
so
seen
too.
you ever seen Death Note?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how like the Shimigami see the age and then shit like hanging over your head and like when you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Be like that, but for social media.
Well, there's
That'd
some
be crazy.
there's some movie where they have like their time.
Oh yeah, that's scary as fuck.
And
What movie
they're,
is it?
I don't
I
know.
forget what
They have
movie
like their
that's
time
called.
implanted in their, like it's tattooed into their
Yeah.
skin, and like if you fuck up or something, it like goes down a little bit.
I know it's, bro. I've seen that movie before. I forgot the name of it too. I
That
know
make
exactly
you,
what you're
hey,
talking
that'll
about.
fucking make you quit smoking cigarettes real fucking quick. Every time you smoke one, it goes down like a point.
Hell yeah.
Bro, what is that movie called? Yeah, because I feel like I've seen it.
It was an
recently.
action. It was like an action movie. I have no clue what it was called.
Bro, what man? That's crazy when you think about how things is gonna be. Because I think it's gonna be a big change.
But
coming.
see, I mean, I think shit like that too. But at the same time, you think back to like the early 2000s when everybody was like, we're gonna have flying cars. We're not flying cars. And like the closest thing we have to a flying car is like a fucking hoverboard on wheels.
I mean, but you gotta think
I
about
got-
it though. I mean, time is getting close though, because you see they got cars that drive by themselves, so we getting kind of close.
It's true. That's true.
And
All right, I
you
got 2 comments on that then.
Which one?
Okay, so I'm gonna read that one thing from The Simpsons that happened this week. This happened on the 20th, and there was a breaking news headline on the bottom of a CNN like live show,
We talked about that. Yeah.
and it says, "Quote: President Trump postpones Denmark trip after Prime Minister refuses to sell Greenland to United States."
This is on The Simpsons.
And it was word for word on a 1995 episode of The Simpsons.
1995.
That's before I
dog.
was born, bro.
Like if this was like a year ago, it would make sense.
Bro, 1995.
But wait,
We weren't even. We weren't even born.
When was the show aired?
In 1995, and then CNN happened 3 days ago.
And this happened on
Yeah, like Trump's trying to buy Greenland right now for some reason.
so in the
What is
exact same
Greenland?
headline.
It's the exact word for word headline as a 1995 episode of The Simpsons.
What is Greenland?
Greenland's like the giant ass country,
They really just
top right of.
I've never heard of Greenland.
It's fucking huge.
Really?
Never.
Yeah, it's just like by itself. It's like above Canada.
What's there?
Ice.
ice.
It's because Iceland is green, but Greenland is ice. The pirates named it that so that whenever
Wait, hold on.
other
Iceland doesn't have ice in it.
no, the pirates named each of the islands that so
Yeah.
that whenever people would like expect to go find treasure and shit, they
They'd
would
be
sail to the
fucking-
wrong island, and the original pirates would be like, "Bitch." Like,
So Greenland. Is, why does he want to buy ice?
no one knows why he wants to buy Greenland.
Global warming.
We don't know. No one knows.
he said no. He's trying to buy Greenland, not Iceland.
Yeah, he's trying to buy
But
Greenland.
you just said Greenland is where the ice is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Why is he buying ice?
Bro, we don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. He's trying to.
Like, what are you trying to do, dog?
Let's ask the Simpsons. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. See,
You
that's
need some
what-
information. You go to fucking watch The Simpsons.
See, man, I feel like there's other people that know what these big names are doing, but they're just not. They're putting it out, but they're trying to see if the people are getting it. Like I think they're trying to make us realize that you either believe it or you don't. Do you believe that it's true?
You know, I was thinking about that the other day. I was, because like, when I was like a couple years ago, I never believed any of this shit. I'd always blow it off like, like that's just cool. You know what I'm saying? Just like I just wouldn't think nothing of it.
Yeah.
But now, like now that I get older, you start questioning shit. And now when I hear some shit like this, I'm like, because like you gotta think about like, we live like such a simple life, right? But like, you gotta realize there's gotta be some consequences to living the simple life, right? Like, there's gotta be some crazy shit that has to go on. Like, you know, Mission Impossible with fucking Tom Cruise.
Yeah, of course.
And you know how this motherfucker saves the world every time.
Yeah.
But no one knows that he saved the world.
Jason Bourne type shit. Yeah.
I think that shit really happens.
So you think there's actual agents?
I'm not saying there's like a 5'5" Tom Cruise running around.
Whenever my very first year at college, I sat next to this guy who don't remember his name, so I can't get him in trouble. Or the cops asked me, I literally wouldn't know. But this
what
dude
do you mean his race?
He's a white dude. He was way bigger than me.
What does he look like?
He army guy, straight up.
Okay. Shaved head.
And he was like a paid mercenary for like private armies, and he was like telling me about like all the shit that he would go do.
What's he doing in school with you?
Oh, he quit. So he was like getting back.
Okay.
He's like, what you doing there with him?
No, but like I just sat next to him in a class, and pretty much like homie was telling me about how they just get paid by some billionaire that they'd never know because their boss would take the checks.
Like private hits.
Yeah, and they just do like raids, and they'd have like armies of like 40 to 100 people like raiding places, and I'm like, where the fuck in the world needs like 100 people to raid it right now that not everyone is gonna find out?
Yeah.
So
was that not live streamed? You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
I mean, that's like the Osama bin Laden kill. Like, you know who did it?
Do what?
Do you know who did it?
What do you mean?
Like, do you know who killed Osama bin Laden?
The guy came out, right? Like, shot him?
I don't know. Did he?
I think the guy came. They made that whole documentary.
I don't blame him because I could not. Because
they didn't show any of their faces, but I think the documentary was actually pretty revealing. If I remember correct.
Did they even show anything when there was remember when there was in like some type of building?
All that was fake. I think.
That's what I'm getting to. So you know the movie Zero Dark 30?
Yeah.
Okay, so they got that information from apparently the people that did it, but they just gave them a whole bunch of bullshit. Like all the shit, they said all the shit that they gave him was just fucking bullshit.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, like that house he was in Zero Dark 30, like that. None of that's really true.
That's
like that point where that dude like walks in and the RPG hits him in the chest and it's just a dud. I'm like, what the fuck?
Everything that when I heard that, I really got pissed off because that's such a badass movie.
Hey, it's still a good movie.
It's such a badass movie.
Yeah. Whenever the fucking chopper gets they gotta blow the chopper to shreds.
It kind of hit me. It kind of hit me though because Osama's just chilling in a fucking whorehouse at the very top level, and it's a fucking street with the houses, and at the very end, it's like a little mini mansion, and you're telling me Osama's just chilling in there. I'm Osama, dog. You ain't. I'm in Greenland. I'm in a little igloo hiding. So
yeah, you. I think it was.
I'd be in South America. That's where I'd go.
You said what?
I'd be in South America. It's too much jungle. Nobody's gonna look through a jungle.
I'll probably be in Iceland, not Greenland.
Greenland in a fucking igloo, dude.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Put me a little heater in there.
But then you gotta hunt.
I mean, yeah, he fucking,
I hire a mercenary camp.
I hire a mercenary.
Hey, y'all nearby? Hey, I need some food. I need this and that. I need y'all to get that.
What you gonna pay him with? No one gives a fuck about dollars and.
Motherfucker, I'll blow your ass out. What the fuck?
I'll give him V-Bucks. You know what I'm saying?
V-Bucks
for Fortnite.
Oh, V-Bucks. Dude, you get honestly, you give a 14. If a 14-year-old kid comes in to get hired or something, but you're like running low on funds, and they want to get paid, like I just give you V-Bucks, dog. Like, all right, they wouldn't give a fuck.
You're like, all right.
But
that's where it was going, anyways.
What was the point of this?
We went from like Simpsons to Trump to psychics to.
Oh, it's talking about Greenland, and you was talking about Osama bin Laden, and it was talking about Zero Dark 30, and it was also talking about Zero Dark 30, how it might have been some bullshit.
It was some bullshit.
So I have a little theory that I have for how the Simpsons like do their thing.
Right.
And there's like
just say it, dude. Time travel.
Two theories, and they both are real. I don't know if either of them are used by them, but they're both real and they both like make sense.
Talk to me.
So the first one is one thing that the way I learned this is if you research near-death experiences, you realize that almost like pretty much 100% of humans that like die and then come back to life have some type of experience that's not nothingness if they come back. Because if they die forever, you never know. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But pretty much like what they did is like they see that like, or like whenever people have strokes and the logical side of their brain shuts down, pretty much they just become that side that is like creative, just there, just awareness pretty much. and there's like weird stories where like someone has died in a hospital room, and the lady was like woken up from it, and she's like doctor, like there's a red shoe on the top of the building, and he's like, bitch, like you've been in the bed dead in front of me, you know, like, and they go up and check, and there's like a red shoe like on the top of the building, like that. This happens all over the world.
So you talk about like an out of body experience.
Yeah, so pretty much what I'm saying is that like that I'm just proving like a point to say that is like entering some type of other state is possible. I don't know how, but that is done by almost everybody whenever they're about to die. But what I was saying about The Simpsons is there's this thing called remote viewing, and remote viewing is like almost the same thing, but it's like looking
like a third person.
Yeah, pretty much. So like the CIA has declassified documents where they talk about them using professional remote viewers to find out things during World War II, the Vietnam War, all these different shit. They spy on Russia with it all the time.
Did you watch Game of Thrones?
No.
There's a guy on there that can channel his mind into like a hawk.
And just fly
and he can
look
fly
at shit.
over the enemy and see what the fuck they're doing.
That's pretty much what they do. It's really weird because like they'll have a like one of the best documented cases is there was this like Russian plane that flew like down over China, kind of like around the bottom, like went below India, goes across Africa, and goes and looks at Hawaii. Yeah. Right? Or in like there's just some islands. I'm sorry, the Bermuda over there, because Hawaii would be on the other side.
Right.
But they go and look at that, and the U.S. get like not that much radar of it. They have radar over our islands, and then they have radar over Russia, and they see the thing come in, but they never see the thing go back. So like, fuck, what the fuck happened to it? Where did it go? And so they hire these remote viewers who they had used lots of times, and these remote viewers like pretty much just use the information they're given, and at the end they're like, oh, it's at this exact coordinates, and they're like
explain to me
48.62 coordinates, like yeah. I'm talking like some really specific shit.
Longitude, latitude.
Explain to me what a remote viewer is.
So pretty much what this is doing is, like I was saying, they pretty much disconnect the right and left side of their brain, and they just become the creative side. Like,
and they can do this by just like sitting there and then doing it.
Yeah, pretty weird. I mean, that it's so crazy that like the government kept hiring them, and then like the guy who would hire them kept getting fired, and then the new guy would come in and be like, "What's this bullshit y'all been doing?" Like, it's like you paying someone to do what, you know?
Yeah.
And then they would have to reprove it again, and they got through like 4 or 5 different officers of just getting paid over and over to like prove themselves, and they did it every time. They're on YouTube still today, like out here turning people into like chickens and cats on stage, like through hypnosis and shit. Like, it's pretty fucking crazy.
It's hard to believe motherfuckers on YouTube these days, man. Sure. Because I always feel like the ones that are really like the ones that really tell the fucking truth are the ones that aren't on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, I was fucking listening to this guy yesterday that was saying he worked with fucking this one that got shot in the head in Dallas.
Nipsey?
No, the
JFK.
president. JFK.
Well, you didn't say, man, don't live Nip, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be specific, man, because he got shot in the head too, man.
He claimed that he worked with him, and you know, he fucking was like in this group or whatever, and all this fucking bullshit. And it's just so hard to believe that someone would go on a podcast and do that. He was talking about fucking how the first step on the moon, right? He was like, if you notice when they get back from the moon, they're not fucking excited, or they're not like all excited, like spread the word that they got on the moon. And they're fake. I watched the shit because I didn't really believe him, but if you watch the interview after, they're kind of like real anti, like just trying to be like, can we get this shit over with, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you just stepped on the moon for the first time ever, right? Like, you figure you'd be like hyped, right? But apparently they had like, when I watched it, they had like this scared look on their face. Like, probably, you know what I'm saying? But apparently that when they got there, as soon as they stepped foot on the moon, they look up and like to the right of them, and there was 2 unidentified objects just float. They're sitting there and just fucking looking at them.
The second man on the moon, Buzz Aldrin.
That's what I'm talking about.
Buzz Aldrin. I mean, okay, Buzz Aldrin.
I just got him started.
Buzz Aldrin's
Buzz
Aldrin's a fuck. I gotta admit that. Buzz Aldrin's a fucks around.
That's what I'm talking about.
If you look at Buzz Aldrin's Instagram, all it is just girls in bikinis and his old 80-year-old ass just
dude, he saw people staring at him on the moon. Now he's getting some ass, dude.
But he said that the back of the moon looked like a parking lot of vehicles that hadn't moved in a long time. He's the
So
second
there's
man
vehicles
on the moon.
on the moon.
That's what he said.
Wait. What did he say?
On
was there?
C-SPAN. C-SPAN is the government network.
Wait. So
Pretty fucking nuts. And then we all just like look at him like, oh, okay, next day. Moving on.
I mean, so you tell me you don't believe him?
I don't know. If there's one person I would like off
I think
accolades.
Neil Armstrong is a punk, bro.
He's never said shit.
That's why I think he's a punk.
Yeah.
I'm saying everything.
Hell
Neil?
yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
About Neil? Why?
Neil punk. Don't get these hands.
Why?
Neil, cause dog, listen, man. You go on a fucking spaceship to outer space. You land on the moon. Have you ever sat outside and just looked at the moon?
Yeah.
How crazy is it looking?
Very close.
If you're at it at nighttime and it's a clear sky and that moon's shining on you in the face, that motherfucker's bright, son. That shit lights the streets up.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So you're gonna go fucking step foot on the motherfucker, and you're gonna come home and be like, it was whatever. Apparently there was threats involved there. Like if you say anything, we'll fucking get everybody in we'll get you and we'll get your family.
So the moon video is like the launch to the moon.
That whole look jank as shit, man.
It is. So like here's probably what happened. At least like I read a lot of this one specifically because I believe that we did go to the moon that time, but that footage was so garbage because how do I say it? Like they think the whole time they're doing the video, you can see it keep cutting, and so what they're trying to avoid is anything in the shot that would look weird to
I heard it was
viewer.
just a green screen.
Well, so what really happened is they flew right before that to the moon. So we had already been to the moon, like right before that.
Who were we in the competition with to get
With
there
Russia.
first? Russia, that's right.
And like
Oh, yeah.
Russia launched Sputnik, and then the whole race started. But pretty much
It's like, who cares though? You know?
every time that they would switch that cam, it looks like they're switching to like a real feed, but that feed happened before that.
Right. I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. When
yeah.
feeds look distorted, and it kind of looks like it could be before or after this point right here.
Yeah. Hey, we need to get someone to really watch that video.
What?
We need to get like a guy that can really, really focus his eyes in on every little detail and see if you can see some motherfucker like somebody fucking up in the background. Like somebody
Trust me,
drops
bro,
a peanut in the
those
background.
videos have been watched millions of times. People
But
have done that.
I heard the video was the whole scenario of the video was made because we wanted to prove that before Russia got there, so it looked like we already got there. And here's my thing: where's the flag at? The hoe just floated away.
Wait, what?
You know what I'm saying?
There's no gravity.
But I'm planting the American flag in there, saying I'm sealing that bitch.
Hell yeah.
I'm drilling
Making
holes.
sure that shit stays.
I'm making sure that bitch is there.
I came
forever.
all the way to the fucking moon.
I'm making sure that shit is there forever. I'm spray painting shit, right? Like I know you go and just float away.
like
but
if you ever see this, here's my number on Earth. type
dog,
shit,
like I'm leaving, like I'm taking a shit in the area and then putting the fucking flag down, and then drilling holes. You know the whole thing. Some Xenon shit. Remember Xenon?
No.
You remember Xenon from
Sounds
Disney
familiar.
Channel?
It do sound familiar.
Remember Xenon? I think her name was Xenon of the Future. Or no, was it?
Phil of the Future?
No. Shut up, Phil the Future though.
Phil of the Future was the shit, yeah.
No, it was Xenon. It was a movie. They had like 3 or 4 of them, but they were from outer space. Remember? And they had fucking Aaron Carter come and perform at one of the things. No, just me.
Just
I'm trying to, because I think I've seen it before, but
Yeah,
I
it
just
sounds
don't
familiar.
remember.
But anyways,
Or we just.
if I'm gonna plant the flag there, I'm making sure that shit stays there, man.
Hell yeah.
And if I'm gonna
is it not
record
there
this
anymore?
shit-
I've never heard anything about that.
I mean, no one said anything.
I don't know.
Can you see the moon verbatim if you look into a telescope?
Yeah, I used to have like a really nice telescope.
Like you can see, like, what can you see though?
You just see craters. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like my whole thing is like, can we not focus on the moon at all times and see if anything's on there?
Oh yeah. There's like there's a video that came out. I went in June. So on the last day of my trip to Indiana that I was telling you about, on the way back, the night before, so this was probably like the very end of May, beginning.
Of this year?
Yeah,
Yeah,
very very end of May. There is a video of this astronomer from Italy who's just filming the moon just like he does every other night, and you see fucking 22 different ships just fly across it.
That's what I'm saying.
And like the video is like pretty intense. I'm not saying it's 100% real because it's, you know, you could doctor
That's
anything.
what pisses me off.
But like homeboy is like a real like astrology person, you know, astronomer, like not out here looking for aliens. He's looking like tilts of the moon, like shit like that, you know, like, and he just comes across a video of 22 different ships like fly across. They're like way too high to be birds. They're definitely not planes, but they're like moving like thousands of miles, dude. Like they fucking chop,
like,
dude. They go across the moon in the video. Like that's fucking crazy.
We're live, baby. We're back. Okay, continue.
Went through Skunk Works, Boeing, all that shit. It's called like, they have like X-14 planes, X-51 planes. It's all X shit specifically. But the X-Files is really interesting. Like there's a letter written by Lyndon Baines Johnson, like the president, who Lyndon Baines Johnson was like the main president that let the CIA get really corrupt in the first place. But Lyndon Baines Johnson has like a letter in the Lyndon Baines Johnson library that's just titled, like it's just the only thing that's on is a giant ass X. And he, like, whenever he got out of his presidency, he was like, don't open that shit until 50 years after I die.
I'm like, all right, I'm opening that bitch
now. So like it's supposed to be open in 2023. It's not that far.
So no one's opened it?
Hell nah.
Why not?
Bro, because like it's like they, for some reason they just, it's his library, so he owns the library and it's in his own shit.
So in 2023 we're gonna find out some crazy shit?
Oh fuck yeah. But the crazy part is the CIA convinced, somehow Congress got control enough of this situation that they voted to allow the president at that time, so whoever is president in 2023, to open it, read it, and then decide if it is able to be told to the public or not.
So we're fucked because Trump's going to fucking open it.
Well, whoever opens it, they're not going to tell us shit. But I hope it does get open and we know some shit, because that'd be awesome.
This is what's going to happen. You ready for this? Trump's going to become president again next term. Okay? He's going to get this letter. He's going to read it, right?
Will he be in office in 2023?
Yeah. 29.
Yeah, he would be.
That'll be his.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying?
Wow.
So he'll get this letter, pull out his fucking phone, go on Twitter, think of some stupid, crazy shit to mock this letter.
He's going to be like, they were talking about Hillary Clinton in the emails.
Yes, and he'll put it out there. And he'll fucking that's exactly what's going to happen.
What if he just takes a real picture of it and just posts it on Twitter and doesn't say anything?
I really don't think he would even give a fuck.
No, Trump, that's...
No, like, I think he would really do that.
The X-Files, like, that's... Yeah. I think if Trump is doing anything decent, like, Trump's a little shithead. If he was doing anything decent, it would be to open
What's
the
up with the wall?
I don't know.
Is that who being built?
Bro, did you hear this dude come out, like, 2-3 days ago and say he is the chosen one? Like, he, like...
I didn't see that one.
Bro, like...
I saw him tell some badass to get out of the crowd.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
And he's fat as shit.
So I got two things on that. As far as the box, you know, whenever 2023 hits and they open it, what if it's got something to do with the world?
That's what I'm saying. No, it's gonna have shit about the X-Files. It's just gonna say,
I'm not talking about like extraterrestrial. I'm not talking about like
how was the world made,
or better, like, or how is the world going to end, or when is it going to end?
I don't think that's what it is.
I don't think he can predict that.
Well, I mean, you never know, man.
I'll tell you why. Because when the Mayans tried to pull some bullshit like that in 2012,
no, but they didn't predict the end of the world.
They said the Mayan calendar was the last day.
But that's not really.
Go print out some more pages, dog, and then write some other days.
No, that's not what it meant. There was they have like a way bigger calendar, and that's just the end of a Baktun. So there's like lots of different names for all these different like series of times.
So that was just bullshit people were saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What if it was for 2022 and not 2012? So what if it was off like 10 years?
They've said the world is going to end like 20 times.
Yeah.
I believe no one.
Well, I mean...
And then the closest we got was that fucking asteroid the other day. The last time we came on this.
Son.
I mean, that shit was sudden.
Ain't no one predict that shit, let me tell you what.
That's true.
We think got people out here predicting what's going to go wrong.
Hey, since we're on this Donald Trump shit, I need to get something off my chest, man, because I watched the video today, and it really fucking aggravated me, man. So I'm not too familiar on what's happening in Portland right now, but I'm pretty sure you are. Explain, give me a little rundown of what's happening in Portland.
You're talking about there's just protests back and forth between...
The Proud Brothers, right?
Proud Boys and Antifa,
Boys.
and then regular people.
Right.
But let me tell you, Proud Boys and Antifa are not regular people.
They're like not like what, like white supremacists and shit.
It's literally just like saying like, no, we're not racist, and no, we're not like supremacists, but like we are like for the white people specifically. And
I saw a black guy in the crowd.
it's really dumb. It's really, really dumb.
There's like this fucking group of like 60 white people, and there's one black guy.
My favorite thing is
Yeah, it's
whenever
weird.
conservatives play identity politics, because that's what they bitch about all the time.
But like, what's going? Like, what is the point of this? Why is there fucking shit going on? Like,
Because
why are
people are that
stupid?
stupid. People will literally get together. White people will get together to say, "We're white. We love ourselves."
So what's the reason?
Bro, like
That's
just,
it?
They're just little shitheads, bro.
Because
they got
they're white,
They
they
got
wanna-
nothing to do, bro. Like straight
So
up.
so my point to get into this, I'm watching the video, and they're fucking. There's this guy riding a bike, right? And then they all mob this fucking guy. Okay.
Damn.
Is it the Asian guy?
No, it's a
No.
white guy.
Okay.
So they mob the motherfuckers, right? And this girl comes out of nowhere. I guess she was part of the. Is
Was
the Proud
she-
Boys have women?
I don't know.
Well, this woman comes out of nowhere and punches one of the dudes.
Was anyone wearing all black and riot gear and shit like that? Like that's what Antifa does.
They all had. Most of them had all black on with like the hoods. It's like, also, don't be pussy. Show your face, you
Bro,
fucking
that's
bitch.
my thing.
Don't
bro.
be pussy. You're out here fucking in the middle of the day. You ain't got no goddamn job. You got your fucking hood on and a ski mask. All you can see is your eyes. Like, are you really standing for what you believe in, you punk bitch, or are you just fucking hiding?
You got people out here that look like they've been doing crack, haven't been outside in 2 years with a baseball bat. I'm like, bro, you're gonna break your arm swinging that
And
shit.
they always
Like,
have a back. What's in the backpack?
I don't
What's
know.
in the backpack? An extra
Some of
pair
them
of
be having
shoes?
military gloves on and shit.
They
like
have the
what?
whole. They have fucking like
The vest?
vests on. But anyways, I see this girl.
Fucking military boots out here.
I see
like,
this
stomping
girl. I see
down.
this girl running right, and she sucks this dude from the side. Right, it's like 1 versus like 50. These motherfuckers sucks this dude from the side. This guy just takes the punch, looks at her straight in the face, and just goes, boom,
Damn.
and just fucking lays Sally Lou out fucking flat, son.
Damn.
So
for
who
real.
who punched and who got punched? Like which?
She punched him first, and
So
then he
she
knocked her
punched
the
a
fuck
Proud
out.
Boy.
No, I don't know who this guy was. Maybe it wasn't the Proud Boy. Maybe it was the people. It was the people in all black
That's Antifa.
that punched this bald head white guy, and then he laid this girl out so hard that when I was watching the video, I was like, dude, yeah, I fucking went crazy, son.
Nothing
And
better than someone who's geared the fuck out getting knocked out.
knocked out.
Yeah.
But like it's just kind of like, man, what? Like, who gives a rat's fucking asshole? You know what I'm saying? Like, you really taking the time out of your. I know it sounds like everybody else, but you taking the time out of your day to go spit some bullshit on the streets, and like, there's nothing more than those videos where like someone's trying to like drive their car through the crowd, right? Because they're on the fucking main street.
And everyone's just smacking.
And
their
they're like,
shit.
they're like, go! Like, dude, motherfucker, you really think I'm gonna fucking tuck my nutsack in my asshole and go, oh, you know what, man, you're right.
It's not
Fuck
like it's
you,
not like
bro.
this is a street or anything.
It's not like you're a fucking cop, bitch. It's always that one fucking fat female with the long socks up to her knees that's like, you go! It's like, dude, someone's gotta get fucking shot. You know what I'm saying? It's always the fattest girl and fucking socks up to her knees.
It's crazy. Like Americans think we know how to protest, but like we're the biggest pussies.
There's
about
no
it.
point in a protest.
There
I've
is,
said, how many
like-
times I said this?
okay, but there's like shit going on in Hong
There's
Kong
no
right
point in a
now.
protest.
There's shit going on in Hong Kong right now where like
I seen that. That
that
dude.
shit's nuts, bro. They pulled up on like a week ago. The Chinese government pulled up in Hong Kong with like, there's like the airport, like right here. There's like the airport right here, a long ass street, and then a long ass street. This is in like downtown Hong Kong, and the whole thing is filled with just trucks of guns, of just army soldiers, just like battalion weaponry. Like, bro, it's fucking nuts.
Damn.
And so, like, the protesters, it's so serious out there. Remember I was talking about these social credit scores and shit? These people are having to, whenever they protest, every protester has to have a laser because the Chinese government has, like, military hackers. And what they do is they watch the body cams of their soldiers and they face scan people in the crowd. So people protesting have to hold lasers and shoot the cameras with the lasers so they can't
so
face
they
scan
can't see
anybody.
their faces.
Because if they do, they will literally
Man.
come to your house and, like, take your family and shit.
Dog, it's not like this is my thing. If you can face scam me, I'm not there. Like, I'm not gonna fucking go an extra mile and just fucking, you know what I'm
Shoot some
saying? Like,
lasers.
Hey, but that's how you know that's serious, though.
And you know how
That
them
there's-
Chinese motherfuckers be? They be fucking. I think all Chinese people have Tourette's. Is that
I
wrong?
don't know about that.
Because they're always like, you know, they're like, Chinese people move like 2K characters. You know what I'm saying? It's not. They don't move like in like See how I'm moving right now? This is how they move. You know what I'm saying? And the way they talk is also the fucking same. They're always freaking out. They can never say a full sentence without stopping with it. It's you know what I'm saying? I can fucking have a full conversation with you right now and not even have to do that shit, right? But imagine being a fucking. It's the truth, man. And I'm not gonna be an Asian man in my little flip flops out in the fucking street shining lasers on motherfuckers. It's really not worth it to me.
Hey, there's a difference between what people here are fighting for is like more liberal, like free speech democracy. Over there, they're fighting for democracy in the first place.
I know I sound stupid when I say this, but there's really too many people in America that give a fuck about politics. I mean that in a good way, and I mean that in a bad. Like, yes, pay attention to politics. Like, know your shit, but you have to realize there's nothing you can really do besides vote to go change some real shit. A protest, you don't see Bernie's fucking old ass go on the street. And
hey, actually Bernie was doing not a Bernie supporter, but Bernie was out here during the middle of the civil rights era, out there in the streets. I seen him. He got
arrested and shit. I seen him.
Out there in the streets protesting a lot.
Sounds the exact same way.
Damn. Hey, but he go hard for that.
He go hard for that, but we talked about, I'm not much of a politics guy, right? So I don't really pay attention to all this shit. But Bernie always comes off as that cool guy, right? Let's legalize weed, let's give free college, all this bullshit, right? I just now heard the breakdown of his shit today, right? It was this girl in the street interviewing these guys, right? Mm-hmm. And these guys are they just came from a Bernie rally or whatever.
They're Bernie.
Yeah, they're stoned out of their mind, these guys. And the girl walks up to him and starts trying to interview him, and she's like, so tell me why you want to vote for Bernie.
Yeah, just simple ass questions.
They're they go, legalize the marijuana, free college, and some other bullshit, right? She's like, who do you think? She's like, so you getting free college, so who's going to pay for the college? And he's like, it's free. And she's like, no, someone's got to pay for the college. Who's going to pay for it? And he's like, taxpayers. And so she was like, so you're going to raise taxes so you can get free college. But at the end of it, you're still going to have to pay for the college. You're still paying taxes. And I'm butchering the fuck out of what she said, but.
You saw what she did there?
Yeah.
You saw what she did there? That's why
But I didn't really even think about that. Because I always heard him say free college and shit, but I never thought about who's going to pay for the college.
So one of my biggest points that if anyone ever listens to me that we really need to understand about paying for shit like medicine, school, science, shit like that. Okay, listen. The American government has never ever ran out of money. And let me tell you, we are broke as fuck right now. They just
talked about that.
They just had a meeting in the UN, and one of the British dudes goes up in front of,
I think I saw that,
the fucking commissioner. I retweeted it. I don't know if you saw that.
I think I did, bro.
But the commissioner, or the dude goes up in front of the commissioner, and he just starts off. He says, I'm sorry for making the same whorish speech that I make year after year, but it's the central banks. It's the central banks. And he keeps talking about how there's this thing where it's pretty much, so there's this thing called leverage where if a bank has $1, they're allowed to lend $10 for that $1 that they have. So pretty much what happened is there's fractionalized leveraging and exponential leveraging that's going on, destroying economies everywhere. Because if I have $1 and I loan you $10, where the fuck did that $9 come from? So pretty much here's my point to all this is that we are broke as fuck.
Trillions of dollars in debt, right?
I'm not talking about the United States. I'm not talking about the big six banks. I'm talking the central banks. The biggest central banks in the world are broke as fuck. But they can't go broke because money has no value. They have a computer.
Exactly.
A computer where if they say you get $1 million, it's numbers. Boop, 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 boop. 90% of the U.S. dollars are not printed.
You are in my head right now.
90% of the U.S. dollars are not printed. Think about you look in your bank account right now. Do you see a stack of?
Say it, man. You're gonna freak me out.
Do you see a stack of dollars? Do you see a stack of dollars does it show you like a vault? Like whenever you log into your bank account, it says $20. Do you get like a view of $20 in the bank vault? No, that's how it says $20. It's numbers.
Dude, I'm on the way home today. I go, oh fuck, my check came in, my because I get the direct deposit. I go to my bank account, I see it. I'm like, I'm cooling, right? So I'm like, fuck, I was in debt. I'm like, motherfucker, got paid. I'm like, fuck, I'm good, right?
Yeah.
I you pull up your Chase app, the savings account's right there too. Everything's right there. I see my savings account, it's got the money in there, and I'm like looking at it. I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, is this really money though? Because
someone just added numbers to your screen.
Because just like he said, it does. You don't really have a picture of your money right there. It's just a number.
It's a number,
right?
bro.
So they could fuck around and just go put 00, and now my money is gone.
Yeah, you have no money.
That's what hit me today. And because you always see rappers with their fucking money and shit, but it's like it's just scary to think that our money is in a place where somebody could just go boop boop and be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, and think about if that money you have is the leverage dollars. Like they only had that $1 and they just loaned you $8. Well, they're allowed to do that. So like your $7 that you took, like your $1 was real, but the $7 that you took, like they didn't have that money, but you have it. So where the fuck did it come from?
Let me ask you this: why is the bank free?
What do you mean?
Like, why is it free? If I want to go get a debit card, why is it free?
Because it's a fucking scam.
But like, explain me, because I can go get a debit card right now, and not pay a cent, and then put money on it, and then use my own money.
But you still gotta have certain.
Yeah, I mean, a debit card's a little different because debit card you like.
The credit card, I know the scam on that.
No,
Chill talk about
but you got no. When it comes to the debit card, you gotta have a savings too, correct?
Yeah, you got to put money in to get money out. So that's what's different about debit. Yeah, but credit's just swiping, and then
no. I know you got. I mean, I got both of them, but I know you got the money in the debit card, right? But like, they're not making money off my debit card, are they?
Oh yeah, they are. So inflation occurs at about 3% to 5% every year, right?
Really?
Sure.
Okay. So here's the crazy part. Say I have $1,000 in my bank account, and if inflation occurs at 5%. That means my money is worth 5% less than it was a year ago. But my dollar amount will go up due to the interest on the bank, but the bank is like 0.5% to 1%. Right. So your dollar amount goes up. So you're at like 105 now, right? Well, you're now paying interest on the money that you made. The money that you made, because it was 1,000, now it's 1,005. So I have to pay a tax because I got a profit. So I just paid a tax on a profit, but that money is worth less than it was a year ago, literally.
So I pay tax on my debit card?
You pay taxes on money in the bank.
In general.
Not because it's in the bank, but because during that time of it being in the bank, it's collecting interest. And because
I'm spending it.
Do what?
I'm spending the money though.
But every second is the same amount of interest compared to the end of the year. It doesn't just pop on at one minute. You know what I'm saying?
Like imagine if you had like $10,000 in your account, right? But you let it sit, like you said, for like a whole year. Dude, like it's not being touched. You're not using it for bills. It's literally just sitting there.
Right.
The interest and all of that, it's gonna build up. So when you like spending and giving money, it's all happening at the same time. When you spend it, you're spending money, but at the same time, your money is doing all the spending and the gathering itself without you even touching it.
And it's the greatest con ever because that next year, whenever you pull that $10,000 out and it's at $10,050, you're literally holding the same stack you were before with 50 extra dollars. You're like, oh, I got more money. But that money is literally worth less than it was a year ago. And who's controlling the interest rates to allow deflation to happen? The banks.
I'm pulling all my money out of the bank tonight.
I don't use banks. That's
the end of it.
I literally use a debit card only to buy online purchases, and that's it.
Dude, this guy, man, in about 20, 25 years, we're gonna go, what the fuck's Colton doing? Right? We're gonna call his phone. His phone's gonna be off. We're like trying to find him on social media. You ain't gonna find him. Right? We're like, go to his parents' house. Hey, you seen Colton? Like, hey, I ain't talked to the kid in 10 years. I ain't seen him. Colton will be. You play Grand Theft Auto, the newest one.
Yeah, GTA 5.
You know the guy that has a limp and he's always getting
Trevor?
jobs. No, not Trevor.
Was it front? No, not.
It starts with an L.
Lester.
This motherfucker's gonna be Lester, son. Off the grid. Can't find another fucker, but he's pulling jobs, right?
And he's making street lights turn green.
Yeah, Lester, man. Right fucking here. I see it, dog.
Well,
He'll be at the fucking bar drinking by himself, just fucking just
0 stars though. They don't want to know I'm here. 0
Dude,
stars.
you won't even know
Exactly.
who's this. He'll have social media accounts, but it'll be off. So he'll be using another server from another house somehow.
Yeah, some kind of way.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
reflect off the trajectory.
You
of
guys are
satellite and
ridiculous.
everything.
Lester, baby.
Hey man,
If you can't find him, that's when you know where he is.
at least you sit somewhere ducked off and you got money.
Because he gonna start that new podcast and he gonna say some shit he shouldn't have said, and they gonna come get his ass.
They'll be like,
And the parents will open the door like, I haven't seen the kid.
Yeah.
Lester.
That's his name, Lester.
Lester the
No.
What?
No.
Nah, dude. Just Lester.
No, we good, y'all.
Lester.
Nah, we
Hey,
good.
guy, can you flip that fucking thing for me real quick?
I got you.
Just flip the screen. Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, so you want to go into the Epstein thing now?
Yeah, let's go to Epstein. Let's fucking cut this bitch off.
Okay. You know about this? Remember how we talked about in the very first podcast, the Jeffrey Epstein, the guy that went to jail, billionaire pedophile, fucking mansion in New York. Like there's people, like there's videos, people like walking up to his house in New York, like his door is like this wall to that wall, like to entrance to his mansion. And he's like that type of money. You know what I'm saying? And homeboy went to prison, and last time I came on here, he was still in prison. Mm-hmm. Well, homeboy committed suicide somehow in a 5-star federal prison on suicide watch. So what happened is everyone was like, all right, well, just give us the camera and we'll watch him kill himself. Well, someone came in and convinced the people in the 30 minutes that he committed suicide to turn the cameras off for himself for maintenance.
Hillary Clinton.
Wait, what?
So it's like a 5-star federal prison with the top billionaire pedophile on lockdown in the world at that point. Like that's captured. They came in there and someone convinced them to turn off the security cameras for 30 minutes for maintenance. And then the security guard people came out and were like, oh, we fell asleep. Like we were watching. And homeboy had his hyoid. There's the thing called your hyoid bone.
Yeah, something in your neck.
Connects your tongue to like
and
your,
they say
your head.
that when people hang themselves, that's usually the bone that breaks.
Yeah, or manual strangulation. Yeah. So it's not really like a either or. It doesn't prove anything. But like whatever happened.
I mean, whoever killed him smart enough to fucking know that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then his cellmate is like an ex-cop who's like been paid by like really dark people. I don't know who the fuck, like CIA, I don't know what the fuck it is, but been paid by really dark people to kill like 5 people. It was like a 5-time murderer, like super corrupt, like New York cop. And that happened to be his cellmate. And you know,
dude, he was fucking him.
I don't know.
What you about to say?
You was what?
He was fucking him, dude.
Man,
That's not where I was going.
Like
I was finna ask, like, did they show how long the laceration was? Like, how long was the mark? Because you're saying that he basically got choked out, basically. So they're saying that he got tissues and toilet paper and that he made something that could suspend a fat ass old man in it.
Wait, Hunter, I didn't know this.
Yeah, no, that's what they said.
So
check this out.
Committed suicide with toilet paper
and tissues.
Check this out.
Like
top.
So like
Ladies.
what else they think is like that maybe he could have like pulled each string out of the bed, like de-threaded the bed and like created something. But I'm like, that's really fucking intricate. And like,
and he did this without anybody seeing him.
Yeah, in 30 minutes, like, come on, bro. Like, while the maintenance camera went off, while in a 5-star federal prison, while on suicide watch.
You know, Hillary went in there with her dick out. Bill's right behind her, like tiptoeing, right? Bill's right behind her, like, get him, honey, get him. And she just like walking, you know, she did that evil walk. She's walking back and forth. She's like, Jeffrey.
Okay, so they went to Epstein's Island. The FBI raided the shit out of it, right?
After he already
killed
died,
himself, yeah.
Which is like, what are we doing?
They raided that shit, and they go to one of the houses in there, and there's a fucking picture. It's a painting. It's a painting of Bill Clinton in a blue dress with red shoes on, like high heels. Like,
what?
I'm talking like.
Where are you getting this information? I didn't hear any of this.
Bro, I promise you. Like, I promise you.
He's
dude.
in a dress?
He's like laid like this, you know, but like red high heels on, blue dress, kneecaps showing, like out here. And then on
you
the
think it was
other
like a
side,
self-portrait?
and then on the other side, they have a picture of Bill Clinton, or not Bill Clinton, a painting of George Bush holding an airplane, a paper airplane. And then there's Jenga towers right here, and they're just all fucked up.
Oh my god!
That's on Epstein's island. What the fuck?
So basically, what you're saying, that picture with Bush is 9/11.
So they actually found the person who drew it, and the person who drew it gave it to an auction. It went sold for a shit ton of money. They didn't know who bought it because it was an anonymous buyer, but that is what she meant out of it. So he bought that, hung it in his house, knowing that that was the intention of the painting.
And they knew the painting was there.
Oh, for sure.
They had to. I didn't know Bush was into this.
Well, there's no record of Bush going to the island, but just the fact
he's
of
a
that.
suspect now.
Okay, so here's the craziest part.
Man.
Here's the craziest part out of everything. This is my favorite part of this whole story. Okay. Whenever they do an autopsy, so since it was such a high level autopsy, the New York, I don't know if it was like the federal prosecutor, because they were like digging in on him at the time. They got to have someone sit in and like pretty much make the conclusion on the autopsy with the doctor. Seems like Michael Bowden or something like that. I forget his name. Okay. Listen to Homeboy's accolades. We'll start off with the easiest one. Sat on the OJ trial, was on OJ's medical defense attorney. Okay.
Yeah.
Starting one.
This is his background?
Was the very first large investigation. This makes him old. This next stat makes him old as fuck. I'm talking like 80 plus.
Yeah.
He was the very first investigation done into the autopsy of Martin Luther King.
Yeah. So
who was smothered in his bed after he was assassinated. So he got shot. Like the house blew up. They threw the bombs in there and then they shot him, right? He made it to the hospital, and the nurse who was in that hospital room came out and said, "Oh yeah, I was removed from the room, and then I pretty much watched them walk in with a pillow and smuggle the guy." This is the nurse who was
literally he survived.
That he survived the gunshot, and they were watching that closely that they walked in and finished it.
Are you talking about Martin Luther King?
Yes, 100%. And he's the very first guy to be part of a government examination of that autopsy.
So he knows what he's doing. He's walking in with his little suitcase, and he knows
But we're just the two things I just brought up, because the third one I'm about to say is even fucking crazier. But those two things I brought up are both assassinations.
Those are facts.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Third one, autopsy JFK.
Explain to me.
Swung back like he ready.
Explain to me what was going on with that, because I thought the motherfuckers got shot in the head.
Yeah, so
a piece of his fucking brain went flying.
There's almost tons of proof that. I mean, I just said if you ask the government, they'll tell you MLK was shot.
I know
and then died.
Apparently, his grandpa or his great grandfather, or whatever, was in the surgery on that.
Wow.
Really?
It's pretty wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if he was telling the truth or not.
I'd love to know if there was more than one bullet hole, because most people say they are. So there was.
I've heard that thing before. I heard
Plus
he shot already and missed.
Yeah, and he was one of the very first people that came out saying that there was one shooter. He was like, "Oh, there's like only," like it was so fucking quick whenever they came out, and he was like, "Oh yeah, there's just one shooter. One shooter. Like I've already looked at the dead body. One shooter for sure." Like so, I just brought up like JFK, an assassination by the deep state of the government. MLK, like the biggest civil rights activist ever, who was definitely assassinated, and then the OJ trial, which is like the biggest fucking trial in the history of America.
When you said OJ, that's all I needed.
Okay, but those three things, and then they let his 84-year-old ass come in there and decide shit about Jeffrey Epstein. Like, you gotta be fucking...
White man?
You definitely. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, though. Like, out of all... There's so many names. Bro, there's been 60 years that have passed. And you're telling me not one motherfucker, other person... got in that room except this one motherfucking guy.
Well, you mean
Always shows up at the most clutchest of times to be like, oh, yep, it's the most simple solution.
you ever seen Toy Story 2?
The dude hung himself with tissues. That's what he
You ever seen Toy Story 2 when the guy walks in? You seen Toy Story 2?
Yeah.
You remember the guy that fixes up the dolls and shit? He like walks in the
yeah,
suitcase.
he'll fix
thing?
Woody up.
That's this motherfucker. That's how I see him.
Look, man, this is all I gotta say. I asked about the mark on his neck because what if it was fiber wire? And if it was, who you think has, you know what I'm saying, fiber wire, like stuff like that? Because it's already in movies, games. What do you think it is?
Fiber wire? What is fiber wire?
Like, you know how when you have, it's basically an instrument that if you do it like this, right? But if you tighten it up, it's like for strangulation, basically. And there's no fingerprints on there. But when stuff like that happens, you ever seen Hitman?
Yeah.
I think it's stuff like that. I think the government, I think they have those type of agents. They're literally memory wiped, and their sole purpose is to complete missions, and it might involve
Like the Winter Soldier type of shit.
Yeah, like you're knocking off billion-dollar targets.
Bro, it's so right because like they go through these things to do the tiniest shit. Like they had, like, do you remember whenever they had the Olympics in Russia, like not too long ago? Like they had agents go in and like so Russia had like the side room next to the room where they collected all the piss, and they literally like shot like this like drone, like this like drill through the wall, and they drilled a small hole and they shot a wire through it that could turn, and it had clamps on the end of the wire, and they literally are out here using a sonar technology to look through this wall to like go grab their athletes' piss who are taking like steroids and shit and remove it from the room and then replace it with other piss.
Who's this?
The Russians. Like this is during the last Olympics. Like all the Russian athletes ended up getting banned like from their own Olympics, like straight up.
Man, check this out. Yeah, I think what's going on is
That's for the Olympics. Think about what they're doing for real shit.
Have
bro.
you seen the picture
picture what?
of Jeffrey Epstein?
We talking about after he died?
Yeah.
Or?
So they have him like all you can see is like top of his head. His nose is different and his ears different.
Hella different.
His nose in real life is like it's almost perfect.
It comes straight out.
It's almost perfect. It's like goes down and
that
it
shit
goes
was
straight out.
that shit was lumpy.
In the picture, it's like see how my nose goes down. That's how his is, but his is like
even
down,
more.
down.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta keep in mind we don't see these people in real life 24/7. You know what I'm saying? So
And he could have been like beat the fuck up. You know. What I'm saying?
Or when you die, you lose all blood and everything just fucking started falling on.
Everything comes flat. There's no muscles that try to keep anything up.
Look,
yeah, but
that
still,
was a quick picture though.
That's what I'm saying. Look,
bro, he was on a stretcher being wheeled out of that bitch. Like that's crazy, bro. Why would they not cover his face either? That's what almost blew my mind. I'm like, who left
Just so you fucking
left the face open? Like real shit. Like
it's a little sloppy if you ask me.
Like what? Like if people get wheeled out of fires and shit, like have you ever seen them have the face open if they're dead?
Yeah.
Nah, they're zipped. They're done.
Well, that's like people commit suicide at their own homes. They zip them up in the bag and then take them out.
They never show faces. Like why would they?
I tell you, they wanted to show the face. You think he's dead?
I think he's dead.
I think yes, too, but I think it was probably an
I think he's back on his little island.
Now they raided the fuck out of that, and then as they were raiding it, all these people in local islands just flew their drones to like watch the FBI raid
serious?
it. Yeah, and so
there's a
like,
bunch of old retired fucks just watching.
Bro, no, it's really funny because they're like flying, like getting real close to the drones, and they're like the FBI is like they'll like fly up to the window, and the FBI is looking at the window, and they'll see the drone right there. They'll be like, "Fuck!" and they'll take like boards, and they'll start boarding the fucking window up so no one can see. It's pretty crazy. Like,
is there video of that?
Yeah, straight up. It's straight up.
I want to watch that. All right, man. I'm done. I'm done here. I can't take it anymore.
Until next time.
All I gotta say is Jeffrey's alive.
You think so?
He says Jeffrey's dead. I think Jeffrey's out there fucking running the streets.
Nah, I think if anything, he went. If he is alive, you remember how I was telling you in the first episode that treason is now. Oh, fuck!
There it is. He just fucking sparked it.
Oh my god! Wait, Trump went on TV like 5 days ago, and someone asked him, who you keep using the treason word. Who has committed treason? And I told you guys, January 2016, January 1st, executive order went in that treason is punishable by execution through a secret military tribunal, meaning that they go on trial through the entire military district of justice that is secret, and they come to a conclusion before any information hits the public, and then they become executed, and then they tell everybody if they want to. So the reporter said, who committed treason against the highest crime in the United States? And homeboy named like 4 or 5 names, and like they're agents of like Barack and Hillary. Like, and then he says, I wouldn't be surprised if we can convict some people higher up in that administration. It's like, holy shit! Like a sitting president of the United States just invoked his executive order to treason by death. By death.
Those people. So basically, those 4 people that.
Bro, I'd be shitting my pants. If a sitting president said my name on TV for the highest crime in the country, I'd be shitting my pants.
I mean, you're already locked up. I'd be like, fuck it. That's
No,
me.
they're not locked up. They're out here roaming free, bro.
Oh, really?
Bro, McCabe is one of the people. Andrew McCabe, I think he was the interim FBI director. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, he ends up getting hired 2 days ago as a CNN contributor, and now he is like on CNN, like has like a new, like we're about to see this dude on TV, and Donald Trump just said on TV that he committed treason. Like that's crazy, bro.
Say which one of my old Donald, but he's a savage, man.
He's a fucking savage.
It wasn't Mueller. Wasn't Mueller's name on there too?
No, he didn't say Mueller's name, but I don't know about that one.
Yeah, man.
Trump definitely doesn't like Mueller. That's all I know.
All I know is Bill is back to fucking whacking his meat twice a day.
Wearing a blue dress and some red heels.
Wearing a blue dress, red heels, and old Hillary's putting that strap on right and just tapping that ass.
Okay, hold on. Before we end this, now, when you say treason, are you talking about just like against the United States, period?
Okay, so like treason means like, I think treason is like pretty much defined as saying like that I have some type of influence and I'm going to use that influence like in a reverse way, like pretty much a counter agent, if that makes sense. And that could be for another country, that could be for an individual, that could be for money motives, if that makes sense.
So, okay, so kind of like somebody coming from well, actually, like somebody being here, but they're showing dedication and, what's the word? What's the word I'm trying to say, man? It's like when you're giving your dedication and your life for a different country, basically. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's pretty much a double agent, like, but
okay, there it is.
And it can be for whatever type of reason, but yeah, if you commit like treason, that's pretty crazy. And then the fucking, did you see like the Overstock CEO come out? Like
that was my thing, man. Like for him to say that it's giving proof like treason is going to be punishable by death. Now that's what gets me. It's like when him naming all of those people that's on
a
there.
sitting U.S. president name people for treason.
Dude, he just called some fat ass motherfucker out in the crowd fat dog. Did you see that? He goes, what did he say?
He said you need to go work out or some shit like
He
that.
called him a fat ass, didn't he?
That's pretty bad. He said, "Get out of here."
Like Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, but the Overstock CEO came out, which Overstock is the biggest retailer in the entire world right now. Like they sell like furniture and shit like that. You know, Overstock.com. Mm-hmm. Okay, the CEO just resigned like 2 days ago because he comes out like a month ago and made this whole like comment on live TV, and he used the words deep state. Mm-hmm. He pretty much said that the Obama and Hillary cabinet administration kind of group of people paid him to use the access he had by having so much online power to spy on certain people. And Trump said 2 years ago that that was happening so that they could spy on him and Ted Cruz. And it comes out 2 days ago that homeboy used that to spy on him and Ted Cruz, and Ted Cruz has never been mentioned except by Trump.
Oh,
and that's pretty nuts. But the Overstock CEO like resigned and was like, I don't really feel that bad. I kind of think it was the right thing to do, but that was illegal as fuck, so I kind of got to go away for a second. And then he like ends it all with like, but we're building blockchain technology and still buy our stuff, you know?
Like, bitch.
Yeah, like, bro, you just kind of implicated yourself. Like, you can't really save that one.
All right, man. Modern X Podcast, episode 46. Chill, any last words?
Let me think.
Chill's a man of very few words.
Oh yeah. The applications has been seized. No more.
Hold on, why?
Because Chill has found a diamond.
Really? Let's give some claps for that.
What do you mean?
Let's give some claps for that. It's been a long journey, my friend, but I think you've made your way.
What do you mean?
A diamond in the rough situation?
Man, just a diamond, period. Like, so we was doing applications before. Because
Still haven't checked my email.
So me being a single person, I am no longer a single person, basically.
Nice.
And it's crazy, bro, because all of this, it happened like during the move.
Really?
So it's crazy how
My best times are at my worst times.
And that's what's crazy, bro. I did not expect that shit to happen. I was like, Lord.
If you don't mind me asking this. White woman? White woman?
I'll end that by saying this. Shout out to all my black queens.
Hey!
Shout out to all
God
my
damn
black
it!
queens out there.
Don't fucking tell me we don't fucking say shout out to the black queens, man.
Yo,
that's legit.
Love y'all very much. That's my baby, so you already know.
That's legit, man.
Yes,
Colton, I don't know if you can top that, but go ahead.
I can't top that. Y'all have a good one.
Hey, man.
Episode 46, Modern X Podcast. Shout out to Colton for coming through.
Appreciate it.
We'll catch you next week.